Chicago Machine going for their first ever title, and Seattle Sockeye looking for their fourth title, but it would be their first in more than a decade. It's always interesting, Ian, to see what the early matchups are going to be. Sockeye punches it in. Bryce Dixon. Paul Arders wore number 0 last night in the dark Machine jerseys. He's back to his normal number 19 today. Duncan Lynn going for the D, and he rips it away from Pavilianis. Early break chance for Seattle. Matt Russell, and Friedman keeps it alive. Up the line to Ben Snell for the Sockeye score.
And like you said, his story is so inspirational, having to overcome injury, having to overcome not making a roster.
No one's covering Kurt Gibson deep, and Joe White hits Kurt in the chest in the end zone. Moved him to Dallas, but he had already committed to playing with Bravo, so he kind of lived in one city and played in the other for many, many years. Played with Ironside for that 16 run, now with Machine as Montague sends it deep to Raider. Past the bidding Jeff Weiss. And a one-throw Sockeye score. Logic would suggest in that three-person wall you'd want a really big, long-arm person in the middle. And instead it's the smallest guy, arguably, in the club division, Nathan Kwan, who they trust his quickness in that spot. And that's good patience and an excellent crossfield scuba from Joe White to Jack Shanahan. Good to have a handler who's that tall. Montague hauls it in.
And you see the switch between the defenders.
Murray shooting it, Trent Dillon. You have to imagine Dylan Freechild feels a little bit of that today. Matt Raider as well. I mean, Raider's been in a lot of big games, won world titles, but not a club title. There's Ben Snell dishing to the end zone. D.Y. Chen makes it 5-2 Sockeye. Here's Friedman. Almost caught Chicago. And a mismatch switch again. Nathan Kwan, no call. He's got the Sockeye goal.
Inexperienced zone defenders will just get caught disc watching and move kind of tethered on a string without checking behind them.
Gibson lasers it to the end zone. Seattle Sockeye has been #1 atop the rankings pretty much all year long. And they're now within 1 goal of taking half. Matt Raider.
Just over to Machine on the Sockeye turn.
You can see the difficulty with that upwind huck. Christian Foster throwing it a little bladier than he would have liked.
White, undeterred by his last error, hits Jack Shanahan, and Machine converts. Simon was a standout handler at Carleton. Product of the Seattle scene, deep shot, Jannon beating Bansfield to the spot. Sockeye takes half, 8-4. You know, Chicago Machine back in 2009, 10 years ago, brought in a bunch of Michigan-based talent. And Andy Nielsen was telling me before the game as the shot goes up, but a well-timed poach gets Dylan Freechild the block. That throw may have hit the ground, but Sockeye back to live action, fires deep to Matt Raider and converts on one throw after the Machine mistake.
Lacking regard for his opponent's safety at times. I think he did the best he could in that instance in trying to hold up.
Wow. Evangelides far too casual on that sideline. Giannis, after several fakes, fires in a backhand for Jack Shanahan. And credit to Sockeye. They seem pretty impervious to the defense in the sense that they're very content to be patient, although Bansfield gets his hand in the cookie jar and knocks it away. Can Machine break Sockeye for the first time in the final? This is just their second chance to do so. There it is. Canner to Gibson. And Chicago's within 3. Montague to space for Jamin. Gibson hustles over, sets the mark. Murray to the back of the end zone for Dillon.
I gotta say, Evan, this second half starting to feel...
Wow. Christian Foster goes flying on another throw that Machine would like back.
The second half starting to feel a lot more like a war of attrition.
Well, you can tell the frustrations have been mounting for Machine. I mean, they got off to such a slow start, fell behind 6-2. Foster shoots it. Hussein Carnegie elevates and scores. One of the great games, one of the great finals we've ever seen, that Revolver Ironside game. Two great programs going head to head. Gibson floats that one up, and Joe White gets hammered as he's landing. And then he flips it to Giannis, and he claps his hands right by the aggressive defender. Low throw, incomplete. Looking for Freechild. That's a pretty stunning mistake from Montague right there on the first throw of the possession. Gibson rips it. Nate Goff is there. Dillon. Oh, Murray could not squeeze it. Deep shot, Gibson got it. Chicago's not done just yet. And now the pressure on Sockeye. Sednar a little shaky and he throws it away. Alan Gilon picks it off. Gibson to Bansfield, to the end zone, to Canner. Puts perspective how tight these throwers have to be with a 175 grams of plastic, a true 50-50, and Nate Goff eats it up. Rader may have called a foul.
Okay, observer ruling, you were pushing him in the back, okay, with a chance to make a play. All right, so it's gonna be here. All right, we're gonna start with a check at the spot of the foul and then bring it to the front end zone line.
And it was really an unnecessary foul the way that disc was angled in to Goff.
Yeah, and Weaver's contact was more than just trying to box out and get his hips down in that low space.
Chicago has possession anyway. Gives us a chance to take a deep breath and check out this block from Vaughn Alangilon against such a great team like Sockeye. What a throw that was. Bansfield to Gibson. He's just shy of the goal line, but he hits Nelson quickly. And we are tied at 11 all. Andy Nielsen was telling me before the game how important that has been. Talked about Kurt's incredible leadership. Deep shot for Dillon with 3 Machine defenders, and Goff went up high for the block. Nelson. For Canner. He'll rip it. Bansfield versus Dixon. White and Dillon join the party, and no one can make the clean catch at Sockeye's disc. It has been a long scoring drought for Seattle Sockeye. Could it end here? Yes! Dixon connects with Dillon. Getting Howe. Little give and go with North. Now Arders. To Giannis. To Howe. For the first time since 2016, the USA Ultimate Men's Final goes to Universe Point. Offensive point for Sockeye. We'll look at this defense for Chicago. Beginning with Seth Weaver and Von Allen Gilon, Kurt Gibson, Johnny Bansfield, Walden Nelson, Nate Goff, and Sam Canner. And at the other end, Trent Dillon, Matt Rader, Matty Russell gets the nod with Simon Montague, Dylan Freechild, Jacob Janin, and Phil Murray. Seattle Sockeye looking for its first title since 2007. Chicago Machine looking for its first title ever. Stall count rising, Raider gets free. Back to Freechild. And into the end zone, Jacob Janin. Seattle Sockeye has won the national title in 2019, surviving the valiant comeback effort from Machine.